What's up, everybody? Welcome to the IPJ. This is Brent in LA.
Hey, this is Matt in the Bay.
Yeah, we got a special guest for you today, DCat Dwayne Cornelius.
What? Is he coming?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This gentleman, this specific gentleman, has probably got me into more magical recording rooms and whatnot. Superstars, rubbing elbows and working with. You know, probably single-handedly more than anyone else in the world.
Wow. Yeah, and you got him. You got the interview.
Yes, sir.
You're amazing. You're amazing. And a little later, we're also going to be talking with a Contra Costa County family who's 84-year-old father's home is being taken from him by his 85-year-old girlfriend.
That's crazy.
Now, try to figure out that argument, huh?
Girlfriend, not even married, huh?
Yeah, not even married. No. And actually, like I said, he claims that he barely knows her and that she's not his girlfriend. And so we're just kind of wondering how she can do this if they're not even married, like you said.
Yeah.
And actually, his daughter, Michelle, wondered the same thing, and she reached out to us here at IPJ, the podcast. And she'll be with us shortly to discuss it. And we're even going to be talking with her 84-year-old father about this.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, interesting, huh?
Nice. Well, without further ado, we have our guest here, Mr. Dwayne Cornelius, DCat, coming live from the studio. Daddy Cat, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. How you doing, bro?
Doing great. How you been?
Been great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, man, the studio looks fantastic back there. Is that where you making the magic at?
You know what, man? In these Corona times, this is my home studio. So I've been slowly stealing stuff from my real studio in North Hollywood and just kind of bringing stuff home and mixing and mastering at the pad, you know.
Yeah, because you've actually got quite a few things going on. You've got some offices internationally, as well as your studio here in the U.S. I mean, you've got a lot of things shaking, Brent, man. How do you keep control of all that magic going on?
Man, you know, I mean, just good friends, good partners, you know.
And a great hustle.
You know, so yeah. Including Brent's family, man. I've been knowing Brent, you know, since he was. We could probably switch the numbers around on our ages a little bit here. So yeah, but I basically have offices in Denmark, and so we have partners in Canada now. It's very cool. So we have a studio partner there, and you know what I'm saying, just kind of staying busy.
Yeah. Now you came up starting with the drums, if I'm correct, when you were about 9 years old. So is that am I on the right track there?
You know, man, drums is still my first love. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Keeps the rhythm, man. Keeps, you know, it kind of helps. I thought I did the same thing. I learned from drums when I was 12. Started there with the rhythm. Really helped transitioning into other instruments for sure. So you did a lot of work in the industry with a lot of different folks. For instance, just starting out with was it Natalie Cole? You did some drum work with her?
Yes, I mean those. I wouldn't say like a full prodigy, but you know, since starting at like age 9, by the time I was like 13, you know, being raised, you know, gospel church, you know, I mean, they were cooking, man. You know what I'm saying? If you were going to play, you had
Yeah, now your dad was a preacher, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So I was raised around music and, you know, really good singing and stuff. So Natalie Cole, she was working with the organist for our church. And, you know, I met her through him, and she really liked me as a young drummer. You know, it was just fun for her to see, because I mean, by the time that I was 15, I was on tour in France, you know, so
wow.
I was working with like Natalie right before I left. So I was like a really hard hitting young drummer, and I was just, you know, hit real hard and fast, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. What style of music were you really drawn to at that time? What type of genre?
Man, my whole thing was really funk, man. I was raised with the funk, and it just so happened, like I was living right across the street from USC. George Clinton's son was actually living down the street, and Womack. So all of us kids, you know, I was actually growing up, you know what I'm saying, with like, you know, P-Funk and Womack.
So and you guys were all in that same little area right there, huh?
about 3-4 blocks apart. I mean, we would get every day. Yeah.
Oh man, imagine that, Brent. Huh? Yeah. Hey, Brent, let's go over see the fellas.
Yeah. And that was mid '80s, so everything was taken off. Like the funk, I guess early '80s you could say, or like late '70s. So the funk was on top, right as Prince and all that stuff started jumping off, Cameo and everything. Mm-hmm. And then of course, hip hop, Broggy came in too. So
funk really opened up a lot of doors. It really did to a lot of artists, as well as P-Funk. I mean, that whole funkadelic thing going on. I mean, everything that was happening during that whole explosion was bringing artists in that turned out to just be amazing on their own. With different artists coming in the band and just amazing.
Everybody, Bootsy to Dap, Roger Troutman, and to Robert all the way to Red Hot Chili Peppers. I was with from the jump. Like I remember the day that they started coming around.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I'm sorry to take all over on the interview, Brent. Jump in anytime you want, brother. This is just a real treat for me. I'm sorry, man. So tell me more about your work with Snoop and DJ Battle Cat. Now that's a whole different genre.
What was cool about it is, like I said, I guess 1989, I moved over to Denmark, and when I got there, I turned on the TV, and Womack had the #1 song in Europe. So I started touring and working with them. But like I said, growing up with the Womacks, they had kids. Mm-hmm. So when I finally moved back to the States in the late 90s, Meech Wells, Mary Wells' son, who's also Cecil Womack's son, he just goes by his mom's name as his stage name.
Right, yeah.
Meech Wells, but he was working with Doug. So he was working with Snoop. I basically just was hanging out with my family. So I just came back right away with straight up, just brought, right into the studio with Snoop, hanging with Meech.
Wow.
I was mixing and like even doing business with Snoop, because I've always had my hand in kind of on the business side too, like I've always been into technology. So like we helped Snoop, build his studio and everything. And as a matter of fact, I got Brent the job to go work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how that all morphed together. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, small world, man. It was actually the connection to the funk and to soul actually, connected me with Snoop. And if most people know Snoop, man, Snoop loves old school music. So Snoop's love for music kind of always kept him, like a friend of ours, right? So then later on, I would also do business and stuff with him too. So then through the same connection, once I met Snoop, Battle Cat was like Snoop's top producer at the time. So, Cat had all this equipment, man. He had, like, he was stuck in the analog world, and as a DJ, like, he had, all his DJ gear and, like, ADATs and, just like, basics, trying to switch over to digital, but he had all the latest and the greatest tech, like the 16-track hard disk recording, Akai, and I think back then it was the Mackie, Victor, back then, Brent, like that, right? So he didn't want nobody to come into his house, man. He was real, still kind of gangster with it, like they didn't trust me with their house. But when he met me, man, he was like, dude, you can come. So like, me and Cat, so we became friends. I helped him hook up his equipment. And the way I did it was I left his analog stuff set up here, and then I set up all of his digital stuff right next to it. And I was teaching him how to use the gear while he was still making beats and doing all of his stuff there. We were dumping digitally. And then, of course, we started working together on the business side as well. So, once I found out, I was like, man, you should be way up here, just like Dre and I think DJ Quick and everybody was super blown. Battle Cat was known, but he just didn't have that real profile, So
why do you think he kind of missed that whole profile? Why do you think he missed that whole profile part though? I mean, was that part of his management? Was that part of his PR? Without
going into his personal life, but like a lot of musicians, man, there's a lot of fast money deals that like happen at the beginning of your career, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying, you can sign away things that like you really, for that small paycheck that you get, even if somebody gives you $100,000 up front, you don't realize it, but then you're stuck paying that back out of your own little share. So you're getting 10%. If the record sells 1 million, you only get $100,000, and then you got to pay that back. You got to live. So you end up always borrowing and always staying behind with the publishers, and you know what I'm saying? Wow. They own the masters and all that. So his business end from the jump was handled by guys that were, you know, very cool, very smart, but they just didn't understand the real legal aspect of the music industry, you know, and the ownership. And it was nothing crooked or anything, man. Most people that's going to make a deal with you, they give it to you in black and white. They tell you to go see your lawyer, but they also hold that big carrot of that cash in front of you. You know? Right, yeah. So there was basically something like that. So we got a lot of that straightened out, man. Great things happened after that. You know what I'm saying? He ended up, you know what I'm saying, back with Dre, on tour with Snoop. You know what I'm saying? So we set up, you know what I'm saying, straighten up those relationships. So is that where you're finding yourself now? Because I noticed you do a lot of you've started a company. Actually, I think it's been around for a bit. You have your own music production company. Can you go a little bit more into that? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd like to learn more about that. That was a good segue because like I said, I was always had like one foot on the business side too. You know, growing up around the old school artists, they had already been through so much. You know what I'm saying? So like, like I mentioned. He said, Meech Wells, his mom was Mary Wells. So, like, you know, that's nothing you can do to make me untrue to my God. You know what I'm saying? So I lived with Mary Wells. You know what? That was Motown side. So, like, you know what I'm saying? You lived with Mary Wells? I lived with Mary because that was Meech's mom. So, like, all the kids were like Womack. But, like, we did with Mary Wells and Curtis Womack. Yeah. So that was my growing up. And P-Funk was just, you know, where, like, we would go and hang with them from there. But the business of music was always on us. You know what I'm saying? We would go to Marvin Gaye's studio and people would tell stories, or I was in the studio with George Clinton and Billy Preston and Bobby Womack all at the same time doing the session. So imagine the stories and the things that like we learned at a very young age. I've always tried to share that, you know what I'm saying, with other artists. Yeah. So my DCat music company had distribution for years with Sony, right? So ever since Sony started, you know what I'm saying, the Orchard, you know what I'm saying, which is pretty popular now, I've already been with them for maybe 15 years, you know. Gotcha. So I had my independent, you know what I'm saying, distribution the whole time. And I just really tried to, you know what I'm saying, whatever I was involved with, you know what I'm saying, we had the outlet to kind of help the artist from like start to finish, you know what I'm saying? So like everything from the graphics to the copyrighting to the registration to going out on tour. So like you said, I'm a drummer, so even if it was a matter of like getting a band together, you know what I'm saying, we could literally, you know, jump out and make moves, you know. Right. So that's kind of how I've ran, you know what I'm saying, my business. And even in these here Corona times, I'm doing it over Zoom, you know what I'm saying. So with the kids that are in Canada, I'm literally, you know what I'm saying, producing vocals over Zoom. They send me all the files, I mix and master here, I send it off to Sony. And then we start the marketing campaign on social network, you know. Wow. So do you think this is this whole, I mean, it's a bad thing, of course, this COVID thing. But do you think it's maybe triggered a positive change in the industry in how we produce music now? I think for creative people, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be all right. I mean, just like you here, you got your radio, you know, show. It's the most popular thing now. People looking for content, you know what I'm saying. Everybody was saying that like content, you know what I'm saying, was king, but now it's more true than ever. Kids are moving to like podcasts, man. My daughter, you know what I'm saying, I mean, she sits and she listens to the coolest podcasts so much that now she works for Spotify. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, awesome. You know, Netflix. You know, so my other daughter works for Netflix, and Netflix is the most popular thing. So though it's kind of hard to get out and do the live things or to, you know what I'm saying, do things in big groups now, the creativity, and if you already have your platform up and running, there should be a little bit of consistency, you know? Yeah, absolutely. You want to get in here, Brent, a little bit?
What you working on now, Daddy Cat?
You got to tell them some of our horror stories, right?
Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there.
I don't want to incriminate anybody.
Not horror stories. It was all good, man. All fun, guys. I've been, so like I said, me and Brent, man, we go so far back in every aspect. So, you know, Brent has actually played like with us on some stuff with the funk too. You know, so we have a group called The Bomb, and DCat and The Bomb is kind of it's a fusion of like real rock and funk and, you know, soul, and it's something
players.
Like, you know, we make records every once in a while, you know, but I mean, every time we do something, it's still in association with like somebody who we know and love. So like George Clinton's on the record, you know what I'm saying, with us. Snoop is on records with us, you know. So right now I'm really liking the artist development program that I've really been trying to tweak and say, you know, how can we help, you know, people get to the marketing side of the game, right? You know, people think that they understand, you know, social networking. It doesn't matter whether it's Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram, you know what I'm saying? There's always a new platform that's hot, but like that's just a small part of your actual market, you know what I'm saying? I mean, YouTube and knowing how many following, how many hours you got to have, and, you know what I'm saying, having everything registered, you know what I'm saying, correctly, and then making a lot of content and holding it, right? So many people try to drop something every day or every week, and they don't, they never get a chance to like stack up, you know what I'm saying, some great, you know what I'm saying, videos and some great promos and some great photos and bios and interviews and everything at the same time, and then just keep on hitting it while you can still be working on your next song or whatever, you know. So I'm really, you know, sharing that. I actually took the time to go back to school on top of all that, right? So I actually went and got my
I'm sorry. Where'd you go to school at?
Berkeley College of Music.
Nice.
Non-stop hustle, man. Like Monopoly don't have game on him.
Really taught me that like you have to stay on your own craft. Even for myself, man. Like I hadn't been playing drums or whatever, and one of the professors was like, I mean, dude, with tears in my eyes, he was like, man, yeah, you doing all this stuff with Snoop, you manage, but what do you do? Are you practicing your acts every day? You know what I'm saying? Are you exercising and staying healthy, eating right, stretching, blah? You know, he was like just laid into me, man. I literally changed my major from thinking that I wanted to go deep into business to, hey, you know what? My passion is still mixing, or, you know, so you still got to be able to read music and do stuff, you know what I'm saying, to be in the school, but to like have your own musical craft. I mean, Brent, he's a guitarist. He's a dope, you know what I'm saying, guitarist. So the main thing, no matter what like we do to hustle and feed our families, you got to make sure that you stay on your craft no matter what. Yeah. And that means everything from running scales or whatever you got to do. You don't have to be writing songs and in the studio. You got to really be practicing and be, you know what I'm saying, healthy and be ready, you know.
Yeah, keep it fluid.
That was mind-blowing for me, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So this program now that you're working with a lot of local artists, how can they how can people keep in touch with you or reach out, find out more about you? Social media link, anything you can share with us?
Yeah, you know what? I keep everything, so it's just DCat Music everywhere. So, you know what I'm saying? My email is DCat@DCat Music. My Instagram, you know what I'm saying? You can DM me at DCat Music, you know what I'm saying? Just everything is DCat Music. The program is called RAW, so it's a recording artist workshop. And technically, since we're doing it internationally now, I'm calling it iRaw, so that it's, you know what I'm saying? Nice. I can keep it different because RAW is really where, like, say, like if we're working with a client every weekend, and like that price could be super cheap, man. So like imagine having tracks with Battle Cat and all of us platinum, you know what I'm saying, producers and engineers and everybody, and you're paying $500 a month. You get studio time, you get Sony distribution, so we put your music in film and television. We do everything in our power to teach you and blow you up. If your song is whack, then we're gonna collaborate with, you know what I'm saying, with you and flip it and change it, or like, and so maybe you need some time into learning how to really write or something. You know what I'm saying? So just whatever they need, that's what we do.
Y'all need to maybe think about boosting that charge up a little bit. $500. That's fantastic, man. That allows an artist
crazy,
to.
I started it with like kids, right? So like having these here kids, if you have 5 kids and they're paying $500, I did, you know what I'm saying? When I figured it out, it doesn't take us long, right? So like, you know what you can do, right? So like I mean, you can chop it up, you can edit it, and you're ready to go, right? So if somebody comes in and they're well prepared, you're saying we can record a simple song in an hour. So like, you know what I'm saying, we can do an original song for an hour. You know what I'm saying, do a quick cover, take the photo, and it's ready to release. So then while we were working with like one kid, the other kid would be in the other room practicing their live show. And then after that, maybe like they're in the other room talking to somebody like a Ernie Singleton or like a Rhonda Badikian, or, you know what I'm saying, somebody who can actually teach them the game. And then when something big happened, so like, I remember there was a concert, it was Mindless Behavior. So they were doing a show out in the IE, 10,000 seater. We had 5 of our kids open up for them.
Wow.
Only had to pay a couple of $100 a piece. We gave the promoter a couple of grand. We had pull-up banners, and they had, it was the autograph, and they opened up. Everybody did a couple of songs. 15 minutes, I had all my girls, you know what I'm saying, all these, you know, young 12 and 15-year-old kids get down on a big stage in front of 10,000 people. You know,
the experience alone of getting on a stage like that is worth every single penny. Exactly. Absolutely. Wow.
You do
That's
it for
incredible.
6 months to a year, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a good stepping stone, and they learn a lot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I started out as a musician, too, so I know what you're talking about, and trying to understand the publishing and the marketing and everything that goes involved with that. So, wow, big, huge kudos out for you to making that available to the up-and-comers, man. They need it. They really do. Brent, you got something else for my brother?
Got my tracks, Daddy Cat. I'm feeling the fire now. I'm ready to burn.
You got to sprinkle it.
Yeah.
Got to sprinkle it. Oh, God, man. Well, DCat. Oh, go ahead, Brent.
No.
No, I was just going to say, DCat, man, I don't want to keep it too long. We really appreciate you coming on in and speaking with us and sharing a little bit about what you're doing out in the studio and with the young musicians out there. And, man, we're really excited what you were telling us about, and we hope to follow up and maybe even be able to speak with one of these young performers of yours soon.
I would love to bring them on, absolutely.
That'd be fantastic.
One girl, her name is Nina Rose. She's from Canada. You guys there?
Yep. Here, gotcha.
My phone froze. She's from Canada, and so we just started her song. It's called A Secret. She's got about 30,000 hits already. She's got 200,000 followers on her TikTok.
Wow.
Song going. Her like live freestyle is going viral, like, it's in 500,000 hits. And I started working with her in like, March. So I would love to bring her on. She's gorgeous, dude. She writes her butt off. She records herself. She's like a prodigy, man. Just like nice. I mean, like the next level of young artists, they are out there, man. So, it's a nice time.
Well, we're so grateful that people like you out there are mentoring these young artists, because they really need true mentors. They don't need people that take advantage of them, and there's a lot of those out there too. Yeah. So glad to see somebody like yourself, DCat, and other very powerful artists and producers in the industry grabbing onto these young folks and mentoring them the right way. Thank you so much, DCat. We really appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, so thanks for joining us, and everybody, that is Mr. Dwayne DCat Cornelius in the house, and we're so appreciative and thankful for you being here, brother. Thank you.
All right, Daddy Cat, much love.
All right, peace.
Wow, man, that was a great interview, man. I really appreciate you landing that, man.
Yeah.
How long have you known him?
Oh, God. Not knee-high to a grasshopper, but about waist-high.
Nice. Now, and then he also mentioned, having worked with your mom as well. So it's been kind of like a family affair association.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you'd consider him like a close family friend?
He's family all the way, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
For
fantastic.
sure. Him, his wife, their 5 kids, and, everyone in their family. Yeah, they're beautiful peeps.
What I loved hearing was when he mentioned about the kids that he's working with. to help inspire them and help give them direction in the industry, because it's so changed from when we were out there, doing our thing. My generation in the 80s and then yours in the later years. And so, everything's really changed. I mean, before there was pay-to-play, I was out there.
Well, they still do that for venues. They still do that.
Oh, yeah. And Bill Gazzari's was still around, though. Old Bill Gazzari. Gazzari's on Sunset.
Yeah.
And we used to go and actually send our tapes in to Gazzari's. And the other places, our little, tapes. Demo tape. And they would either like it or not. And if they didn't, you'd never hear from them, no matter how many times you called. And if they liked it, you'd get a call back, and they would actually have you in to perform before Bill, before the club even opened. You got to go there and show what you can do in front of Bill. And if it didn't work out, you didn't get the call back. If it did, you're on the stage, So it was an amazing way of finding great talent.
I didn't know that he auditioned them. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
So that he at least had to be like at least to a level of quality of musicianship and whatnot. That's great.
Right,
See, like the Whiskey didn't care. We did the pay to play thing our very first show just to say that we did it at the Whiskey, but after that we never had to pay to play. But they gave us tickets. You had, and out of appreciation, I would try to sell as many as I can, as if my money was behind it. And that was part of the reason why they kept us, in that situation for a while. But first time I had to go down, sign my name on this contract for $400 for 35 minutes. Yeah, saying if I don't give you $400, blah blah blah. If I don't come with the money, then you can sue me for $400 or what, And they gave us extra tickets. We actually made money on the first show.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
You're one of the few bands that did that. Just to throw another zinger out there, when we would run into that problem, of trying to sell tickets, because, it turned to the pay-to-play thing. And when we had problems selling tickets, I came up with this crazy idea, and we actually tried it, and it worked. We sold almost all of our tickets. But we took the whole band down to West Covina Fashion Plaza in L.A., and we basically walked through the mall with all of our, glam rock gear on back then, the old Motley Crue hair spiked out, standing up on end. And we had our friends taking, pictures, of us, and that's when you had the old cameras with the flashes and everything, so, and they're running around us taking pictures. We had another buddy, dressed kind of like he was a security guard, just tight shirt and his muscles. And, and we're just, walking around all pantsy-prancy, and as people are looking, these little teeny boppers are coming out of the, stores. They're like, wow, who is that? Motley Crue? Who is, is that Whitesnake? What's going on? And so, as we're walking through, our friends are just selling tickets. Oh yeah, man, they're coming up. They're going to be performing over. Hey, really? Who are they? Oh, they're huge, man. They just came into, and sure enough, we almost sold all the tickets. And that was probably one of the few times we sold tickets. So.
That's dope. That's a good idea. I like that.
After that, everybody saw the show and they're like, no. Oh, God. So anyways, on with the show. Listen, I know I spoke earlier about a family that got in contact with us over the EJFA network at gmail.com email address, and reached out to us in regards to something they say is going on. And I had no idea about this either, but I was aware of receiverships. And in fact, we did a podcast on that, of receiverships and what's going on in Mariposa County and how they're taking land. Just, you could have brown grass and not have watered it, and they'll take your land, bro. It's crazy. Wow. They'll take your home. Wow. It's got to be paid for, though. If it's not paid for, it's not worth it for them. So
wow.
Yeah. So on top of that, though, now all of a sudden there's this thing that it's all of a sudden to me, but apparently it's been out there for a while. Several victims of this by our own county judicial system. It's crazy. It's called conservatorships, Brent. And what they do is they basically go in and act as if an elderly person who has their home pretty much paid for or almost paid for, that they can no longer take care of themselves, that they need somebody to take care of them, and then they end up taking over their home.
This is a complete stranger that comes into your life, like right off the sidewalk or whatever, someone you don't even know. And
Well, apparently what is happening is that the people involved who start this process, like you're going to hear this story right now, this 85-year-old woman who's the girlfriend of this 84-year-old man. I laugh about it. It's not funny, but I laugh about it because it doesn't make sense that an 85-year-old woman would actually be going after an 84-year-old man's home. She has a great home in Berkeley. She has her own life. So I looked into this, and you're right. It's not that these people are doing it. They're basically being pushed by other folks, like a guy named Batista out here in the Bay Area, East Bay, who's an attorney, some kind of businessman. He invests in real estate. He looks like he has lots of properties. But what he does is he comes in.
So he's done this before.
Oh, yeah.
He's got lots of property. There's the clue.
Multiple priors, bro. Multiple priors. This guy's got a rap sheet. Anyways, nothing's been proven criminal on him yet that I know of. I'm still looking into this guy. I tried to reach out to him. He hasn't called me back. I even tried to calling the girlfriend, alleged girlfriend. She's ex-girlfriend, by the way. I keep saying girlfriend. She's an ex. And no answer yet. So anyways, we were able to go down and speak with this family, the Johnson family, and sat with her father and her. It was really, really hot, and I'm just so appreciative of these people letting me into their home to get this information so we can share it to our listeners, so they can understand what the hell's going on. Yeah, this is crazy. Now, it's not only to California, though. It's not only explicit to California. It is actually nationwide, and there's several victims who are being affected by this. So,
are there laws in place to protect homeowners like that?
That's the thing with laws in place. There's always loopholes, apparently, that lawyers exploit. They'll find a word or two that can be misconstrued with a different meaning, so that gives them a legal action to file in court saying, well, this word could mean something else, so it could support my legal theory of we can take their home. What kind of legal ground?
Yeah, what kind of legal ground do they have to stand on? Like, you know what I mean? Who's been making the mortgage payments? Aren't these things that they can look up? You know?
Now, one thing about the mortgage payments too, I'm glad you brought that up, is that the family did get behind on the mortgage payments, and they got behind by $26,000 on their home. Their home is worth much more than that, but it's pretty much, $26,000 they were behind. So when this guy Bautista came in, he gave them a loan, or he took out a loan for them and to save the house, and he basically paid the $26,000, but there was still $9,000 additional that he took out on the home. So he took out a $35,000 loan, paid $26,000, and no one knows where the other $9,000 is, but the family is on the hook for the $35,000.
But this guy took out the loan on behalf of the family?
Yeah, because he became conservator. You'll see in the story.
He took the loan against the house to get that $35,000?
I'm not sure if he took the loan against the house or what, but when you become a conservator for a person, you're basically, have the legal right to sign documents and take over their legal affairs.
So they gave him this power? The family gave him this power?
The family did not. What happened was, you'll see in this video, the family was there at court because this man and the ex-girlfriend were saying that the father, Mr. Johnson, was unable to care for himself, that he has dementia. He doesn't, he's unable to care for himself at all. You'll see, though, I've seen videos of him. He's active. I went personally and met with him. He's very active. He knows what's going on. He's very aware. And so it doesn't make any sense. But he basically was able to take over the case and go into court, say that this guy had these issues, and then the judge never even called the man or his daughter, who were sitting outside the courtroom waiting to be called in so they can show the judge.
Or maybe they did, and the guy just let him in just to the hallway and said, stay here, because, it made it look like they didn't show to the judge.
I'm not sure exactly how it came out. I know that she's requested the court transcripts, and she's not able to get them. She's been asking and asking. So they really need somebody who has some legal knowledge or of some kind that can really help them. But lawyers, they don't want to touch it. She's tried all over the place. And the reason why they don't want to touch it is because a lot of lawyers, I'm going to be straight up, and I'm probably going to get a lot of people mad at me, but a lot of lawyers are straight cowards. They are. The strong lawyers, apparently, they die. Like Mark Angelucci, he was a strong, powerful lawyer, and he went up against the corrupt judicial system in California.
Yeah. See, that's what that sounds like this is. If you ask me, like everything's corrupt from the girlfriend all the way through the judge. If you ask me, they're all on the same page. And I'll bet if you look into history that they've done this before, probably several times, and their names are probably all tied together somehow or other, as evidence along the trail. And yeah, it's disgusting. That's horrible.
Yeah,
that's
well,
horrible.
Let's take a look at the video real quick and see from the family their side of it. I wish I had the opposing side. I did reach out as well to the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office, and I'm hoping to hear back. And if I do get any of these people back with us, we will air what they have to say. In the meantime, let's take a look at that video, and we'll be right back on the other side of this.
Cool.
Welcome, and thank you for having me here to talk about what's going on with Contra Costa County and your home and your dad. And I want to kind of just start from there. What happened? Can you give us a brief summary of how you've gotten to the point where your dad's about to lose his house?
Yes, a petition was filed by his ex-girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, and for conservatorship, and she wanted to be his conservator, and she said that I was abusing him, and she filed the petition, and we both thought it was ridiculous and opposed it, and they denied her petition, and she amended it and nominated a paid fiduciary as the conservator. That makes $150 an hour to involuntarily conserve my dad, and he has to pay him, and the petitioner's legal fees, and the fiduciary's lawyer, and a court-appointed attorney as well, who also works for to get the conservatorship. So they amended the petition nominating this fiduciary, and we got another notice of hearing. So we appeared at that next hearing, and we tried to appear at the hearing. We got to the courthouse, and we were waiting to go in, and in the hallway, and his attorney told us to wait, and he'd come get us when it was time to go in. And next thing you know, he came back and said he's under conservatorship, and we had no hearing. And they had no declaration of capacity, and they bypassed the entire thing.
And so this lady is obviously married to your dad?
No.
So how can a girlfriend or alleged girlfriend just come into your family's life and totally take what your father has built for years?
Exactly. No idea. And it's not even her now, it's the fiduciary, which is even worse. No relation, even stranger, a bigger stranger.
So how does that make you feel, sir?
I don't feel very good about it. That's why we're fighting it.
And this woman that came into your life, was she a girlfriend of yours?
Yes.
And you guys did you get married?
No.
Did you write over or turn over or sign over any kind of documents that would leave her to take care of your assets or property?
No.
So is there any reason why this woman, other than maybe wanting to take your home, would want to do this? Is it out of spite? Did you anger her?
What do you think?
No, I think that she's kind of a pawn too in all of this with the lawyers. I think that she thinks he has dementia so bad that he's going to need to be in a home soon. That's what she thinks. And regardless, it's not her decision. It's my decision. because I'm on all the estate planning documents, and I'm his daughter, and I think she doesn't like that.
So she's an 85-year-old woman, an elderly woman herself.
Yes.
She has a home in Berkeley herself, correct?
Right.
And
Yeah.
So why do you think then she's? I don't understand at all. I mean, how can she even do this? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You want to take a quick break and get some air? Yeah. Let's do that real fast. Okay, so we're at this point now where your dad's like, they're talking about having him go to a senior citizen's home, but I've seen video of your dad and he seems alert. I'm talking to him now. He's fine. We've been joking. We've been talking a little bit about stuff. He even told me about his past employment. It doesn't seem like he has any kind of I'm sorry, I'm getting some audio issues. It doesn't sound like they're having any kind of, or that he's having any kind of cognitive issues. So how can they do this? How can they just put him into an elderly home? What has been the reason, basically?
They say that he has dementia, and he has some memory problems, short-term memory problems, but it's nothing that affects his life. I mean, to the point to where he can't, I mean, he does everything for himself. He dresses himself, he cooks, he cleans, he does laundry, everything that anybody would do. He just might not remember all the details of what you guys talked about, but he's 85 years old. He just turned 85 years old. And it's not, and he's never had, any of his records have never mentioned dementia so much as they have all of a sudden since this started. They said he might have maybe vascular dementia, maybe, but they never tested him. And and ischemic changes, possibly from mini strokes, but never dementia until this started. Now it's dementia everything. I don't know how they can do it. They haven't tested him. They said that they tested him, and they haven't.
So they have said that by the end of the month he has to go to an elderly home, and then the house is going to be put into conservatorship?
They didn't give me an exact date, but they granted the order on the 17th to remove him from his home and sell it and evict Sabrina and I, and put him in a they have dementia powers, so they can put him in a locked facility and medicate him. They have the powers to do, according to what the doctor signed off on the declaration of capacity that he didn't have an exam for.
So now this woman also apparently had well, let's start from the beginning here. There was some financial issues, and you got a little bit behind on the house's mortgage, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so can you tell us just a little bit about that real quick?
We had a loan modification in 2018 that raised the payment from 14 to 21, which was a huge jump. So that kind of got us behind. So we were a little behind, but working it out and figuring out what to do. And
so did you receive statements from the bank telling you they're going to take your home?
Yes.
And so you were able to secure another loan through someone else, correct?
No.
The Bautista?
Oh no, that's this is this time. This is what they did. They so the house was in foreclosure, and my dad and I were figuring it out what to do. And his girlfriend, when she found out, she blamed everything on me. And then when they wanted the conservatorship, they said they were going to put up a $35,000 loan to pay off the default, like they were coming in to save the house because I screwed everything up. Is the picture that they painted? So they said they were saving him from me, basically, and they took out a $35,000 loan from a friend of the petitioner, who is not my dad's friend, who they're acting like they're his dear friends, Mike. You know Mike, and I've never heard of these people before, and never heard of them, never seen them, never heard their name. So they put up the $35,000 loan, this friend of the petitioner, and they got the conservatorship, took out the loan in my dad's name, paid off the default, and never made another mortgage payment. So now, yeah. So
they basically took a $35,000 loan, paid $26,000 towards the loan default, and so where's the other $9,000?
nobody knows.
So you didn't get that remaining $9,000?
No, he's been taking my dad's Social Security and pension since he took over. Since 6/17, since he got the conservatorship, he's been getting all his money. All we get is $150 a week in groceries on a debit card.
Wow.
Is all we get.
Wow. So can have you been in touch with anyone? Have you gotten anywhere yet?
No. You mean help-wise?
Yes.
I have tried to get legal help from every lawyer in every county, 3 counties over, and they all say they have a conflict or they just don't call back. And it's kind of a tricky situation because even it would just end up, the more I fight, the more it's going to cost him. I mean, I've been fighting them for a year, and every time they file a motion, it costs him about $2,000, plus the legal fees, plus the lawyer fees. I mean, plus the fiduciary fees. So it's basically he pays double to fight them.
So it's basically a no-win situation.
Exactly.
They basically have him against the ropes, and he's got to go.
Right.
So I heard that you had some contact, though, with the district attorney in the Contra Costa County area. Is there any hope, a glimmer, anything? Was there good, positive feedback from that?
Yeah, they're willing to look into it now. I'm filing an official complaint, so they are going to look into it. I've heard.
Is there anything else that you would like to add to the story at all?
Just we had estate planning documents to prevent this, and they were ignored. And
they were ignored by whom?
The court.
It's kind of interesting that the court never even brought him in during the process to even speak with him or to get some kind of idea of his.
They pretty much ignored him the entire time. We've gone to court several times, several hearings, and they don't even talk to him. They just talk over him, and they bash me. They go up, and everyone takes turns, dogpiling me and saying, I did this and I did that, and he just sits there, and they don't even talk to him.
And this is all happening, this is in Richmond, California, where your home is, and then this lady, the alleged girlfriend, is in Berkeley, correct?
Yes, and in the court, Martinez.
So any attorneys out there, you need a case that is a for sure winner, and you want to be on the good side of justice, you need to contact Michelle and her family, and we'll leave that information in the video and podcast. Anything else?
Just be careful. I would say to everyone, please be careful. Keep your family squabbles out of court, and because they take advantage of it.
What about you, Mr. Robertson? Anything you'd have to say to somebody who might be facing this? What would you say to them?
Be careful. Every time you think everything is all right, it isn't. Get as much legal help as you can, which is not easy to do. But
how do you feel, though, having worked so hard all these years for this home, and then you're faced with in your golden years? You should be enjoying yourself.
I'm very, very upset about it. I don't think it's right, and I'm just trying to figure out ways to do something about it. I mean, I won't give up on it. I'll keep going until I find a way out of this.
Fighter, good. Well, good luck to both of you, and we'll get this out, and hopefully we'll keep the fight on, and you guys will get some more quickly, hopefully, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there you go.
They're all in on it, for sure. For sure.
Just
The judge
blanket.
is corrupt, the lawyers are corrupt, the girlfriend's obviously corrupt.
Oh God, man.
Yeah. What a scam.
Yeah.
Poor family. That's horrible.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see their willingness to fight. They're not willing to just to lay down.
Jesus, you've worked your whole life to your whole life, everything put into this house, And it'd be damned if I'd hand it away either,
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if you're out there listening and you want to leave us a comment, feel free to. We want to hear some feedback from you, so definitely leave comments in the comment section. And then we also want to let you know that if you are involved in something like this, there are ways and there are things that can help to give you some kind of direction in how to fight this. There's the elder abuse in nursing homes condoned by a corrupt California government. Look that up. It's a website. That, again, is the elder abuse in nursing homes condoned by corrupt California government. We'll leave that link in there. There's also the California Code, Welfare and Institutions Code, WIC, with one of those squiggly lines, 15630. Look that up for information on how to go about filing cases to save your property. There's also the Bureau of Medi-Cal Fraud and Elder Abuse. Let them know what's going on if you're involved in this, if you're in the middle of this. And there's also, you need to file a complaint with the BMFEA complaint department with the courts. It's California. It's the www.courts.ca.gov. Go there and look for the documents for the complaint form and file it ASAP. Also, contact the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office. They have people who are listening, who are finally listening and taking a look at these people and looking into what's going on. And hopefully doing the job they should be doing and getting these corrupt people out of business.
Yeah, and in jail.
Right. Yeah.
Someone like that deserves to have a husband. And the dudes deserve to have a husband. So does the bitch.
So there's lots of resources out there. So definitely take advantage of them. Reach out to people. And that's what we're here for as well. If you're involved in something that you need to get the word out about, corruption, government misconduct, or maybe you have something on your mind you just want to talk with me and Brent about, feel free to give us an email over at the EJFAnetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's EJFAnetwork@gmail.com, and we will respond and set something up, make something happen. Wow, great show, man.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. I mean, I really appreciate you bringing in Dwayne DCat Cornelius, man. That was amazing. I really appreciate that.
He's magic, no doubt.
Yeah. And I'm sure you got some other golden nuggets up in the contact list you might be reaching out to soon. So maybe our listeners.
Of course.
Yeah.
I got lots of friends.
Good. And speaking of lots of friends, I got a couple too. My friend, longtime friend, Simon Daniels, the singer with Autograph. I don't know if you remember them from way back when, but a glam rock band. Kicked some butt, some great recordings. We're really looking forward to talking with him about what's going on, being off tour. They're doing any writing. I mean, this guy's incredible, Brent. I don't know if you know about him, but I've been I worked with this guy back since '98, and back then he was all about his body and his physical and his mental well-being and taking care of himself. Nice. And it showed on stage. I mean, this guy put on a performance, bro.
Yeah.
And he didn't just get up there and jam when I would see him in concert. I mean, he really put on a show. So
that's
great showman. He's gonna be here talking with us. We're really excited about that. And then also we're gonna be having Asphalt Messiah's Casey Jones in the studio as well. Casey Jones and Asphalt Messiah work with Sony Entertainment. They were also on the the movie with all the robots that come together.
Transformers.
Yeah, they did. They had one of their songs on the soundtrack on that.
Yeah, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're going to be talking a little bit about him, about what's going on, because Bruce Vanderveer is in that band as well. Bruce is also a Sony music producer as well, as he fronts the band. So it'd be really exciting to talk to him to find out what's going on with the group and the guys. And also he's a published author, just so everybody knows. So we're going to be talking to him about his book, which is on Amazon, and I want to plug it here. And of course, I'm not absolutely ready, so I'm going to grab it real quick while everybody's like, hey, hurry up, give me that information. Okay, so it's available on Amazon, and it is called, I have it coming too, by the way, and I am going to be reading it. It's called Quest of the Modern Warrior. You can see that, and you should order that on Amazon. It's very cool. And so we'll be reviewing a little bit of his book, talking to him, and having a great time.
Very cool.
Yeah, so how's LA these days, man? What's going on out there? Is it hot?
It's hot.
Horribly
it's hot.
Yeah.
3 digits hot.
3 digits hot. Oh, man, 3 digits to a midget hot. All right, brother.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming out again and talking and hanging out with me and the people. It's always fun.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm Matt in the Bay.
And I'm Brett in LA.
You sure are. And you've been listening to IPJ, the podcast, because it's your voice. Use it.